Hello, disc golf fans from around the world, and welcome back to MDG Media. This is 2025 Turku Open coverage, round 1 back 9 MPO feature card on display here. This course is very challenging but very fair, and ultimately just a lot of fun, both to watch and to play. I'm Connor Wood, and with me, Mr. Elias Luukkonen.
What's up, Connor? What's up, viewers? We're here for the fifth last 9 of the Elite Series Europe season. So we only have 2 rounds of Elite Series events after this. You should enjoy while you still can. We have some great players over. And we did see a lot of good scoring on that front. A few bogeys on the card, but so many birdies. Actually quite impressive. Specifically Gossage, Wysocki and Heimburg. Niklas being the lone Finn. Possibly a little bit of that Worlds hangover. And not talk about alcohol, but rather the great experience from there, keeping him back. Only 200 in the front, but it's still a pace where you can score after.
And an opportunity to continue here, forging his way below par. Hole 10, par 3, 115 meters, although significantly downhill. The most common shot here is a backhand that turns over or flips up through this gap. That is most ideal. You want something forwards pushing and then slowing down late in the flight. There is OB long just beyond a soft downslope after the basket. It can come into play if you throw something a little bit too fast. Some of these players could even throw a hard thrown putter. I think a mid-range is also a common line. You even see fairway drivers, shooter's choice. And for Heimburg, he chooses to absolutely park it with the perfect shot, Elias.
Yeah, seems like a good choice. I mean, what else would you want to do? And this line from Gossage, I have seen this never before from any other player than Gossage. But it does make a lot of sense. That's a great shot. And the wind, if any wind, it's coming from the right. So actually pushing that stalling forehand shot down and away from that right side OB. So honestly, quite a smart shot, I think.
And I feel like this shot shapes really nicely for Niklas's strong turnover game, but that one is too hyzer and released too early. Does not push through the gap in comparison to Ricky's, which is overturned. That does beat the gap, and I think saved by the tree. The single branch brings Ricky Wysocki back in bounds and brings Max to the ground.
Yeah, very sneaky angle. Max, less of a filmer nowadays, but when he needs to, definitely getting down and dirty for the camera. Let's see Ricky outside the circle. A little low, a little breeze on this green. It hasn't been a windy day, actually quite the opposite. Might be one of the calmest days I've played on this specific course.
And Niklas grabs on just barely to the left side. Does retain his par, but every hole he's not birdieing now reduces his chances of being up at the top for round 2. We go to Gossage for his own birdie. And a strange reaction there, but it is a putt that goes in the basket.
Yeah, weird release there. I feel like it came out with some severe nose down angle. Possibly a blessing with that putt catching the right side cage. As we're moving on to the most difficult stretch on this course, holes 11, 12, maybe 13, 14. These are all holes which are common to par, not that common to birdie. And the bogeys do come. Hole number 11 being a 110 meter straight shot off the tee. Want to throw something rather stable so that you don't risk turning over downhill to the right, rather fade too far left than turn too far right. From the perfect sweet spot, about 110 meters from the tee, you're going to have a 75 meter approach that plays much longer. It's quite uphill, probably about 7 meters uphill to this basket from the sweet spot, so definitely plays for a nice hard thrown putter or a soft thrown mid-range on the second.
Calvin comes in a little bit inside, but with a lot of speed. That tree does redirect him into a, I think, more favorable position than he otherwise would have had. You don't need to move left around the corner. You just need to go far enough straight to open up the angle. We go to Aaron. Similar looking line to Calvin's. It's inside left. And settles. He'll get a chance to see what he's left with from there as well.
And once again, really feels like a good hole for Niklas. But the footing, I don't know what was wrong there. Did he kind of go over the tee pad maybe? Slipped on the very edge. You can see there's a dirty patch on the very front of the tee pad from just a lot of feathers already during this week having thrown from there. And Ricky, fortunate break. That is the perfect sweet spot. Nobody else really even in position for a birdie.
Niklas trying to get creative with the forehand roller is quickly shut down by the many woods, and another forehand roller now.
That's weird. That's a couple of very surprising shots and a weird place to land. I don't think I've seen anybody really short of that right side OB near the green, and Calvin as well pulling it to the left. A lot of struggles on this hole number 11.
That will certainly do. Gets himself up into the circle around 8 or 9 meters. Calvin here, his third shot, put it close, would save his par. And he's done just that. Now at bullseye's edge, I've been waiting to see Niklas's lie, so he's actually even forced to still throw it around the backdoor entrance into the green. As you said, a weird access to the green that you don't traditionally see, but he's up there now and ultimately putting Ricky for birdie. And light work for it. Got a good ground play off the tee, had an easy second shot, a fairly easy looking putt, quite stress free, putting him to 7 under.
Yeah, good birdie to get for sure. I mean, this stretch, really, you're not too sad if you are even par or 1 under through this hole and the upcoming 3. They are the main holes on this course, which give you the potential to take multiple bogeys in a row even.
We proceed to hole 12. One of my favorites here on this course. This par 3 is downhill 137 meters. You have an early OB line that cuts off any sort of straight shot over the walking path on the right. The inbounds fairway is this strip of grass and this tree line here, that late blocker preventing access to the green cleanly. You also have this little tree in the bottom right or center right of your frame. We played at the basket in the back there for MPO. And a lot of good shots will flirt with this right side OB line the entire way and swing in late. You can alternatively try to play a forehand out over the left if you have crazy power. And I mentioned that because I thought, similarly to just a few holes ago, we might see this from Aaron. This is a line reserved for very few people who are not only capable but also willing. An enormous hyzer, wide, over the trees, downhill.
That is just so big, it's actually kind of ridiculous. Like, I don't think you can reach this hole with a forehand unless you can throw 145, 150 on flat ground. So just showing off some insane distance and honestly making this hole pretty easy if you can do that. And Ricky, on the other hand, such a common result. The OB on the left side is super close. And while you don't want to go to that right side OB, missing left really isn't that great either. You're going to have a long putt for par now.
And this is the sort of shot I mentioned that flirts with the right side out of bounds the entire way. Comes back in late. He will be circled to a long downhill look. And we go to Niklas. I would expect something hyzer out to the left with a slow flip. But this is in danger now. It needs to swing back left in bounds. And hits the trees, curls, and does not cross. That is an early out of bounds for Niklas. This is the danger of playing out to the right side. He will need to make sure he crosses inbounds here.
And he's done it, though. That is not close for the bogey. 10 meters left. Niklas in danger of taking a double bogey here. Honestly, it's the hole where you would take a double bogey if on some hole on this course. Still doesn't make it feel good, though.
Ricky after the OB. This is for par, and that slips away. We'll have a bogey at best and fall back to 6 under through the first 12. Niklas here. This putt would just keep him at even, Elias. And not only does he float it over the top, he goes OB again. As the strokes begin to add up for Niklas, he will find himself over par once again. We go to Aaron. After all that work, the huge forehand does not translate that short birdie putt.
There is the triple bogey 6 from Niklas. Throwing 4 shots, but 6 strokes on the scorecard. That's honestly a heavy blow. He needs to find some special type of motivation to still keep going and believe that he has a chance to win this tournament, which honestly isn't super realistic. I mean, he would have to go pretty much birdie out from here and then shoot 2 hot rounds in order to win this tournament. So this is really going to be a showcase or a test of Niklas's mental strength to keep going after this.
Hey guys, quick break. We just dropped our brand new 2025 MDG Media Tour clothing collection, which is now available on our online shop. You will find fresh apparel and a full lineup of discs. If you like what we do, if you want to support the project, this is the best way. See you on the website and enjoy the video.
Moving on to one of the longer feeling 121 meter holes you're gonna play. That's assuming you're coming to play this course. It is publicly open on most weeks, so you should definitely try. The normal layout is very close to this tournament layout, so try out this course whenever you have the chance. 121 meters here. Have to throw it pretty low because of the uphill grade. It's easy to stall out on the left side. If you have the power, go for a pure flat to slight hyzer shot here. It's really the right side trees that stop most good but slightly turned over shots. So if you do need to miss on this hole, throw it hard and fade a little bit left early. That way you're at least putting.
And Gossage fires it a little bit too straight out to the right. That will give him still some trouble, an unlikely birdie, but possible still. We go to Calvin. I feel like this is a shot that suits his preferred throw very well. Low, driven, overstable.
Yeah, not bad. 9 meters, 10 meters left there. It's really a hole where it's pretty rare to see somebody being parked. It's so far, and you have to hit this gap with a pretty specific angle in order to park the hole. Similar thing for Ricky there. Let's see Niklas going really fast. I think he has to be pretty frustrated at this point.
And that will leave him with a putt, but will have to navigate the trees still. Is quite significantly short distance, uphill obstacles. We go first to Gossage from the right side, looking for a forehand chip shot. Does so well. A stress-free par for him to maintain his 8 under. A very nice pace through 13 holes. We go now to Niklas and his long look.
Very aggressive, a lot of speed on the disc. Now Ricky from outside the circle. That's gonna be good. Beautiful slight nose down release. Looked a little high out of the hand, but that little drop at the very end of the flight, making good.
Calvin, very casual looking birdie here on 13. Both the drive and the putt looking like normal business for him. And I think that sort of shot is. We go now to Niklas's comebacker. Curious to see how much time, if any, he takes for this short putt. He is normally quite routine oriented, even on the shorter ones.
Good call there. Just a single pump, no routine. Of course it doesn't matter for the score, but you wonder if it matters for his headspace. If he keeps playing like normal, does it make him feel like he can still be in contention for the tournament? I don't know.
Well, he's speeding up, and so are we through this first round. We get now to hole 14. Par 4, 183 meters. This initial tunnel is quite tight. The best drives will get through these trees here and get into the second leg of the fairway. You then have to fight both the right to left and uphill slope as we eventually get to this little downhill hidden green. Almost every upshot will be blind. You can sometimes see hints of the flag up top, but a lot of even good shots will leave you, hopefully, a guess of where you want to come into the green. These players know their landing zones, they know their shots, they know where the pin is, even if they can't see it. But they do see this landing zone, so beautifully framed. Straight fairway for most players.
Just like that, Calvin Heimburg. Perfect shot, even despite the slip on the tee pad. It is one of the slicker tee pads on this course, so not uncommon to see a lot of slightly uncomfortable footing here.
Aaron does not get through as cleanly as the others. Niklas gets it out to the right and kicks left. There is OB lining the left side the entire way. At the bottom of the slope, any sort of roll or kick will bring it into play. And we see now he cuts over the corner, throws the backhand roller down, and honestly, really solid progress from where he was. I don't think he's quite putting yet, but I can't imagine a shot much better than that from his position.
No, I mean, a really good shot. Problem is, he's 2 over par, gonna be 3 over par, so not gonna make him feel very warm and fuzzy even with a great shot thrown. And Aaron Gossage, once again, good forehand power, getting a good 95, 100 meters from just a kneeling stance.
Ricky from the ideal tee shot shapes the backhand to the right through this gap. He wants to use the hill to move left and slow it down, and it's almost perfect. Remember, he's completely blind from there, but knows exactly what landmarks to reference. We go to Calvin.
Talking about nose, the nose angle on this approach being so important to keep it low to the ground. You can see Calvin, a little bit of a nose up release on the forehand, didn't quite catch the height or really the angle either. He was trying to go left side of those trees that he hit. Gossage, good layup, not the easiest of layups. Really big decision, even if you want to go for it from further out like this.
And a very dangerous opportunity for Calvin. He would rather keep it clean, take the par. Ricky for birdie to meet Gossage at 8 under.
Very well done. It's one of those holes, once again, which do feel great if you bird it. And you can see Niklas, he's so far over par, he's already putting with his fairway driver roller disc from just 4 meters out. So that really tells you about the headspace of Niklas at this exact moment. Moving on to hole number 15. The tough stretch is over and an easier hole to follow. 110 meters, plays so much shorter though, probably honestly plays like 95. Don't have to throw very hard on this hole. It's gonna be a low ceiling, straight to left finishing hole. Really calls for a straight to overstable mid-range. Some people even going for a 4-speed approach disc here. Or if you feel comfortable throwing much softer, you can go for that soft fairway driver. But I'd say backhand, hard thrown approach disc or overstable mid-range is really the play here.
And I like the low speed additionally for the lack of skip. This is a green that a lot of fairway drivers are going to come in on hyzer and just disappear on. That in comparison is going to land soft. Beautiful execution of that by Ricky.
Lovely angle here from Calvin. Needs a little skip at the end and there you go. Not even a skip really, just a slide to get up to the bullseye. Definitely a hole where you're pretty angry with yourself if you're not inside the circle.
And Gossage very inside. Does get around the corner though, will have a long putt. Could certainly be worse if you don't hit the gap cleanly. Niklas. Very smooth. Does get that pretty big skip though, down on the left, although it's quite forgiving there. You often see your disc drop away from sight, get a bit worried. It does often feel though that you have some sort of comebacker from there. Aaron, however, from way deep, just gets himself into position. And as I mentioned, this putt right here, very viable birdie putt for Niklas.
That's gonna be a miss. The basket looked huge from that angle with how the branches are set up. And Ricky high in the chains. These baskets are pretty much brand new, at least they feel pretty much brand new, and those heavy middle chains of the Prodigy basket definitely favor a hard putter compared to a soft one. In a normal basket you usually can just jam it in as hard as you can, but with these baskets you pretty much can.
We are outside.
We are together.
Oh my! We are healthy.
We are inclusive.
Smile.
Smile. You are playing
This goal.
PDGA Europe.
Smile.
We will continue on hole 16, par 4, 189 meters. One of the hardest holes on the course. This initial shot is such a pure tunnel. You have to shape, ideally, a backhand on hyzer with a late flip, I think suits it best. You can, of course, play the forehand. You could play a flex. What is most important is that you manage that very narrow width the entire way and give yourself an opportunity on the second to throw out into this open field. You have big rocks out to the left. You have OB lining long and to the right. It's a very specific shot on the second that I think a lot of players play and looks like a stock hyzer, but because you're never really in the perfect landing zone of the tunnel, you sort of compromise your disc, your angle, your control, and overall it's getting clean off the tee. The most important thing here, if you can do it.
It's really about how much risk you want to take off the tee. I mean, throwing a shorter shot might end up on the fairway slightly more often, but this hard thrown fairway driver, personally really like this play. Even has the potential to get all the way out of the gap, but Calvin, with that good kick, he's gonna be extremely happy with that spot.
Gossage falls to a favorable position. He went very aggressive, full power forehand driver. Niklas walks up and throws. Absolutely no hesitation, and even walks it through the tee pad. That looked like a perfect shot. The result is anything but that. Gets a pretty steep kick out to the left. You'd much rather be, for example, shorter and in the middle where Aaron is here than where Niklas will find himself, I think. And this flex looks really nice. Wow, he gets over the crest of the hill, pushes the distance and slows it down. That is a birdie putt for Gossage from pretty early on.
That's, I mean, that's a really long shot as well. It's not only the fact that he hit the gap from good 40, 45 meters away, but he still had about 140 meters to the green or to the basket. And even Ricky here, slightly further up, but a tough angle, needs to flip it up on the hyzer. And he's out there, not a bad result. Really a par on this hole from a suboptimal drive is going to be great.
Calvin, a great look into the green from here. Plays something high and out to the right. This is looking fantastic. And it's almost too long. I feel like, Elias, I almost never see people go OB long here. It's pretty much always OB right or early left if it's not in the middle. Niklas forced to scramble with a steep hyzer. He cuts the branches. He's now in position and, as you mentioned, just playing so quickly, walking up, throwing. They're not bad shots particularly, but I think he's just not giving himself all the chances that he could.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, on a shot like that, I don't mind him going quickly. But for example, if we go a couple holes back to hole, let's say hole 14, had a very crucial drive off the tee and a lot of potential for disaster. Goes very quick, misses the gap. Yeah, definitely some situational awareness, I feel like. Even when you're frustrated, can be useful.
Calvin Heimburg does find the elusive birdie here on 16 because there's such a demanding set of shots required. Only 20% of the field able to find the birdie here in this first round.
You can see the sun is already almost setting beyond the wood line or the tree line on the back. It's a very late round because of that weather delay early on in the day. All of the tee times had to be pushed a couple of hours back. So it's already past 8 p.m., almost 9 p.m. at this very moment as we're approaching hole number 17. 109 meters of distance, slightly uphill. And a very unique shape, actually. You can go for a nice inside hyzer forehand just around this FPO basket. Or if you feel touchy with a backhand turnover, that might be the purest shot through the gap, but it's just extremely technical. So I'd say most common play either go over the top with the forehand or try to hit that gap at the perfect time moving right with the forehand.
And this is unfortunately neither of those things. The early right inside. The gaps there are normally large enough to scramble another shot. I don't think Calvin will be in too much trouble. It's just very unsatisfying throwing forehand to get that early right inside. Kill the flight. Less progress. Ricky fires too long. Catches the late end of the gap and rather not the gap. Hits the trees. Aaron, let's see his forehand touch. We know he has the power. This is just about angles for him.
Great shot. Beautiful timing off the fade. It's actually quite difficult to hit that gap with the forehand. And you can see the claps haven't even stopped when Niklas is already going. If he gets around that tree, it's great, but no. Looking like a dry back nine, at least as far as birdies from Niklas.
As mentioned, Calvin was in a reasonable position, that early right side. It's certainly better than the left side OB. Ricky drops to a knee, shapes the Anheuser forehand into the pin. We saw, that was unclear to me if he was trying to give that one a bid or not. Ultimately just a layup along with Niklas there. Gossage for the lone birdie of this card. Really smooth.
Stripes it there. Beautifully done. Aaron Goss is definitely a player that I feel like would agree with the saying, paint the pole with your follow through. Does have that direct down and up putting motion, really never moving across the line of the pole.
And our other three card mates join the 66% of the field taking par on 17, the highest Elias of any hole. We proceed onto hole 18, a beautiful and fun final hole. This par 3 is a 116-meter island. These hay bales delineate the inbounds area, and in fact, the hay is the line itself. So fun fact, the OB line is as wide as the physical object that represents it, a very wide OB line, roughly about circle's edge at all points. Also, you'll notice the gallery directly behind 18. There's a good set of eyes, a good set of applause, and a final throw to put in bounds to end strong. Otherwise, you will proceed to the drop zone, a makeable 12 or 13 meter putt from the short side. Gossage to get to 10 under.
Going super wide, and he knows it's a little bit too wide. Let's see if he gets the fade still, and just barely does. Over the hay bales, anything inside of the island is usually gonna result in a birdie. Really, the island is no bigger than a 10-meter circle. So if you feel comfortable putting it in from 9, you should be happy with anything on this island.
Oh, and Calvin settles nicely. You see a lot of discs, particularly high speed, that aren't super spiky, land in and skip out. You also see some discs that land out and skip in, but I love the height for Rick here as well. So pure on that line. Great delivery into the green. Niklas walks up, he throws, and he walks through the tee pad. He is ready for a new day at this point, and unfortunately, is OB short. I'm not even sure at this point if he knows that he's OB short. With his head down, was not paying any attention to the spotter or watching his disc. This is the aforementioned drop zone. He runs it, he misses.
Ricky to go 10 under, and that's not gonna be good. A weird release there. Just mentioned painting the pole. He was not painting the pole there in Calvin. Double digits under par. Great result. And a result that if you do that 3 times in a row, you're honestly expecting to win the tournament. I mean, don't have to do a whole lot more. And a shocking result from Niklas. +4 on the day.
On a course that from an outside perspective does suit his skill set rather well. But we see double digits from this card from both Aaron and Calvin. Ricky right behind that last putt, keeping him away from the double digits. And some 13 unders were set here on the course. It's a pretty scorching round, Elias.
Yep, Ezra Robinson, Raven News, I'm bringing the big heat. It's not one of the hotter weeks of the year here, but they are definitely feeling hot. And going into round 2, we're gonna have the pleasure of seeing both Aaron Gossage and Calvin Heimburg for the second round in a row. Just proving that point of MDG lead card, making your game a little bit better. Don't tell that to Niklas though. Thank you guys so much for watching this round number 1, and thank you Connor for being here for the last tournament.
Thank you, Elias. You mentioned scorching hot on the rounds. They'll need to be ice cold going down the line as the pressure mounts. They look to be the final Disc Golf Pro Tour Europe Elite Series champion of 2025. Stay tuned to see who it will be.